Okay, hello. This is going to be a full overview of my entire Redstone world. So there's a couple of things here that I've been working on. So I just decided to give a quick update, show how things are going, and what's been done. So this is going to be just full explanation, how I built a couple of these things and what they do. So we'll start here. This is my first redstone thing that I've able to build. It's a 3x3 piston door. Well, 2x2 flash piston door. Pretty simple to make actually. Really small. And it was probably the first one I ever learned how to build. We'll get this there. And bam. Really simple to make, does its job well, and it's great. Alright, the next thing is this. This is just half a jig door. So it does the exact same thing, but just half the size. This is just two 2x2 piston doors put together. Does its job nicely, and it sort of looks like an airlock, I suppose. Although, kinda, not really. This is same thing, 2x2 door on its side. This works like a trapdoor. You flick and then you fall in. And you got these things here left with doors. These are 4x4 vault doors, so this is the first stage of it being built. Yep, and this is the second stage with the double piston extension. You can see there. Alright, and then this is the third stage with another one of the first stage put on the side just so it's viewable like this on both sides. This is a bit more complex. It uses zero ticking pistons which don't work on bedrock and are kind of finicky on servers. Alright, now we're moving on to secret staircases. None of these are things I built. None of them are actually. All these are designs I've learnt. So this is it's a hidden staircase and door made from Mumbo. This is a 3x3 hidden staircase with a triple piston extender slime block. So that goes up. This is 1x2 blocks with a piston extender. This is just a piston and a double piston extender hidden staircase. And this is a 2x4. This is probably like the best one. Alright, so all these I just copied from a tutorial. This one and this one I just schemated in and then just learned how to build it. So yeah. Right, that's it for the doors. I'd say we move on to decoders. Oh, first just this. This is just a simple trash can. Barely works and I didn't have enough place for it. So this 4 sets of encoders and decoders. So it basically makes data transfer a lot easier. You know, it's like on or off, or 1 to 2. This is 3 to 4, so 0 is always on because there's nothing coming through. Until I turn one of these on, it encodes into binary, and I've got this one on. So it's a way of sort of sending data over a long distance for having to worry about like 4 different lines of redstone, 4 different lines of repeaters, and like the larger numbers you get, the more cost effective this becomes in terms of resources. So this 4-bit one is able to do 16 different bits just across 4 lines, so you don't need 15 different like long ass repeaters. Alright, over here we've got storage, so this can store and hold data. This is 1 bit over here, so it can store and hold either a 0 or a 1. Currently it's holding a 0, activate the right, and turn on read, and it's outputting a 1. This works using piston locking. It's pretty cool, and all it does is if there's data stored, it blocks this piston being powered, so it's only powered by this redstone torch, which gets turned off. Adding more stuff behind it adds in another slot of data, and putting one next to it adds the amount of numbers that can fit in that slot. So if we have a look at this 4x4 one, so it can hold 4 bits of numbers, 15 numbers, plus 15, plus 15, plus 15. There, they can hold about 60 different numbers. This one is 16, it's going to hold 16 different numbers. 8, so it's going to hold a byte of data, 8 bytes of data. It goes all the way up here to 32. These things I use a bit, and especially in later builds. Alright, let's have a look at displays now. So we'll start with these pixel displays here. So all these really are just the cyan shows the display, the purple controls is like sort of RAM, and the lime holds as the input. So I want to input, I don't know, we'll input this. Alright, and then I want to show it. And it's all on there, and even if I switch these off, it's all held these bits here. And then if I wanted to clear it, just press that and it clears it away. An expansion for this is, instead of having to write in each manual pixel, you can have preset images here, any length really, and you just expand these down and you add in the image data here. Alright, next is 7 segment displays. So this can show images, numbers from like 0 to 9. Here we got 9, 8, 7 and so forth, all the way down to 0. Here, this one can show less numbers, but it's encoded into binary, so this one could show numbers up to 8, 8 being the highest here, and blank being the lowest. You want to take use of the full 4 bits. This is just 2 stuck together, but it's just sort of expanded, and it's a double digit one. So say we want to do 2 plus 4, and if we go over here we get 6. And if we want maybe like 8 plus 4, we'll get 12. Pretty simple. It's just, this is a decoder on top, and then below it just turns on which like segment you want to have like the image data stored into. Remember it is redstone torches, so off can mean on, and etc. So let's keep that in mind. Yeah, I'll switch this off. and we'll take a look at away from the concept and into the actual like proper stuff. I've like the proper things. So all these four here are stuff that have built myself using probably only like the 7-segment displays and stuff. So this is like this image reader writer with preset images, except that you can change the images inside. So go here. Remember, it does flip the image because of the way it's been built. So if we go here, I want to get that in there like that, and we'll save this to image slot 1. Now that we've done that, we can switch all these off. And we can teleport back down to the output, which we can and choose image slot 1, pistons move, and we've got sus. And so the way this works is, so when you switch on each pixel, it goes out in this sort of flat diagram here, and it pushes down all that pixel. Anyway, it pushes down all this pixel here that goes on, and then you choose which slot you want it in, which is what the save slot does. Then it pushes these pistons out, updates, and these pistons move down like it has here. And when there's no redstone on top, that means that it will be turned on if the red line goes on. So then you teleport down here, you use this as like a T flip-flop button panel. This one goes here, and it goes into the red line, and it turns on the pistons that can be. Then they go out here, and then they turn on each lamp, and then they get folded back into image pixel, which means that we get this. Alright, let's have a look at the most useless calculator and their expansion. So this is version 1 of the calculator. This is basically 4-bit calculator that shows the output pretty average, so like 8 plus 7 15. It's pretty crap, and it's definitely the worst version, although it is the fastest. Keep that in mind. Alright, so how this works is leave a panel here, they go down, get encoded into binary, both ends, and then they both go into the ALU, which is set to sum, and the output comes out, goes up here, and then gets decoded into these lines, and just like how it works over there, goes here. So 8 plus 8 is impossible in this version because 16 does not fit into 4 bits of data. However, on this version, I've sort of hacked it a little bit because there's a function on the ALU that lets me also calculate button. There's a function on this ALU that has a carry out, which means that if it exceeds the space of the binary, it just pushes it over until it's here. And since this can only be 16, it goes up through the middle here, and then gets decoded into the number 16 way over here. The way the calculate function works is that it pushes down, so these repeaters, so redstone can't pass through here. Yeah, so that's how the calculate function works. Another change that's probably quite big is the fact that now the inputs display on the top screen there. Let's switch this. So let's say we want a 1, and then a 1 will appear there. So how this works is it goes here and gets encoded like normal, and then it keeps going up here and then goes into just a regular lime line. And then it uses torch towers for all of them, and then the second row gets over here, goes through this gap, and has the same thing happen. And so that is version 2. Version 3 only really has one extra upgrade. Added storage, just because having to write in the same equation every time is annoying. So say we want 8 plus 2. So 2 plus 8, everything appears up there like normal. Press calculate, and then we get 10. And say we want to save this, so let's go save slot 1. Alright, so now I can turn these off. Now we'll turn off the calculate function as well. And we want to read slot 1, so we press that. The flip-flop goes, and we get 10 displayed on that screen. We press that, it will all move because there's no input to it. Alright, so the way that this function here works is that there's 2 outputs for an ALU, that way and that way. I'm hijacking this way, the one that had the redstone lamps on it, and I'm feeding this into just a 5-bit storage, and then these green lines tell which one it needs to read to, of course. Then the orange one does the read function, so of course, like before, any piston that doesn't have redstone on it will get pushed up, allowing redstone to pass through, go down here, and go up this torch tower, and gets decoded back into 7-segment numbers. So I can hold a total of 7 different numbers here, which is probably enough. Alright, so that's calculators, storage, image writer, which is probably the only useful thing here, and a couple of doors, stairways, encoder decoders, and image displays, and of course the trash can. So this is basically it. There's not much more to add. Alright, bye.